Budget for 2024 has been announced. What has been announced? What are the number of policies, the new policies going to be implemented? What are the changes in the tax slabs? What is fiscal deficit? What is the whether it's 5.9%? What is the GDP is expected in 2024-25? All these terminologies, all these technical, financial, or sort of political analysis is available on Google. Everything that you can find out. It is definitely an interim budget which has been announced because the general election is on around the corner, and the finalization of all the things, whether it's going to be implemented or not, I mean, it will be very shortly happening in 2024 itself in July. So whoever is going to form a government, whether the existing one will continue, definitely it will be an add-on. They don't have to think about what they have done in the last 5 years. It's already their agenda. They're going to implement it. So my point of view, my sort of analysis is from kind of middle class man perspective, a person who's a salaried person who's giving taxes to the government. I mean, not willingly or unwillingly. Before my salary comes into my account, the government takes its portion automatically. There is no control on it, and definitely it is a government revenue. Because if you talk about the fiscal deficit means something there is in reduction. But if when we talk about uh, when a government presents its budget, they talk about their revenue, their earnings, and their it's a kind of analysis. It's kind of assessment that government present or have to present in front of the public and openly of what they have earned and how they're going to spend it for the betterment, for the welfare of the people of their own country. So certainly there are a lot of things that have been talked about, have been going on for ages, ever since we got an independence. So there's no doubt about it. We have grown exponentially. The infrastructure has grown up. The education system. I mean, if you compare in last 76, 75 years, when Britishers left, we only had few colleges, a few universities. So expansion has taken place, whether it's infrastructure for transportation part, commuting from one place to another place has become very easy, convenient also, and at a reasonable price that is available. But there's certainly a lot more area to be require an improvement. What are those areas there where the government has to focus? uh, they talked about they in this 2024 budget also. They have talked about the 11% increment for capital expenditure, which will be in, especially in terms of improving the infrastructure, building new roads, building new sort of airports, railway tracks, everything to when the infrastructure gets built, the opportunities in terms of employment, in terms of connectivity, businesses gets expanded. So this absolutely is part of government vision, government goal. It's there. It's an 11%. Last time it was just 10 lakh crores, and this time it is going to be 11 lakh crore. So some sort of 11% increment is there. But what is there from a middle class point of view? Have they really focused on what a salaried person giving taxes, uh, direct taxes and indirect taxes? Forget about the direct taxes, which I think it is my duty when I'm there as a sensible citizen to give my nation. This is a portion of my nation. I'm already doing it. But what about the indirect taxes? The if even after paying 15-10% taxes on my salary, if I don't get that kind of uh, you know privilege in a country, when if I have to go for medical facilities, if I have to go for any kind of look for higher education or quality education of my own children, I'll have to again put a lot of efforts and money, and this is not at a reasonable cost. You can see the private sectors, I mean, the private institutions are how much money they are charging for small kids. They are going to a nursery, pre-nursery. A lakh rupees is the admission charges, the admission fees, which where government has no control. This is one part of the trouble of a middle class family. The other part of trouble is the health, access to quality health. If I have to get an assessment done of myself, I have to pay 5,000, 10,000 rupees for a diagnosis, just to ensure that I'm working in the IT sector, I'm stay healthy and fit to pay the government, not only my own survival, for the government also. So, and another thing is inflation. Yes, the inflation, people are enjoying their life sitting in front of a smart TV watching, oh, Israel is attacking Palestine and Russia attacking Ukraine, or Ukraine is retaliating wonderfully. They're enjoying the clapping for all this nonsense what is happening in because of geopolitical reason, but they don't know they're sitting at home enjoying, but they are directly or indirectly going to be impacted very soon because of all things happening 4,000 miles away in Middle East, or in Soviet Union, or in Russia. Definitely it has impacted a lot on inflation part. The crude oil prices have gone high. When something happens in Middle East, certainly the inflation goes high because the petrol prices, all they goes skyrocketing things, skyrocket prices. So when the mode of transportation, the crude oil and all these things which helps bringing the food to your home, it goes high, the inflation automatically it impacts on this. So today if you think that something is happening 4,000 miles away and you can watch on smart TV what Z News or any other television, I don't want to get into a kind of media politics right now, because whatever they are showing to you, you can just stay happy. Today might be happy, but tomorrow or day after tomorrow, maybe for your own children it's going to be a difficult life. It's not going to be easy, trust me on this. Whatever is happening in Manipur, if it does not get controlled somewhat, maybe it's going to impact everybody in the future. Because one part of your own country is impact. These are all things, challenges that somebody has to address, somebody has to fix. If it is happening on global level, has to be sorted out soon, because we all are connected through globalization. If it is happening at national level, that has to be fixed on the ground level. If it's happening in your own societal level, that has to be fixed there as well. Somehow we have to find out the solution. When we say we have to find out the solution, we have the right to vote, we have the right to choose the right people. And it is absolutely in your hand. Once the vote is over, the voting is over, election is over, nothing is over. For 5 years, nothing is in your hand. Actually, you can't do anything about it. Still can do, but it is going to cost you. It is again will be on your shoulder. But sorry, the burden will be on your shoulder somehow. So that's the story in a nutshell. What are we going to do about it? So inflation, tax burden, indirect taxes, direct taxes, um, high prices, bad quality infrastructure. Let me give you one great example. Recently the government has focused on the vision. They talked about the vision of becoming a Vishwaguru. It's a new fancy term coming in. There's no point telling this again. When I was in my 10th standard, I heard Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam giving a target of 20 years. As per him, India should have or would have become a developed nation by 2020. And now we are 4 years ahead, and we are still setting up a goal of 2047, which is another 24 years time to become a developed nation. Why? Because our money is going into the wrong direction. Defense and other nonsense stuff is going on because we have several dispute. When I talk about dispute, the territorial dispute with neighboring countries. If you can't fix the problem with neighboring countries, certainly you will have to get ready for the war. Preparing for the war is the worst thing. Your entire earnings are going into war preparation. That is one thing. You continuously building the infrastructure to save your nation land. By the time, you know, 2047 comes, half of you will be died. I don't know how that I'm gonna live or not. So this is two for 24 years. I'm sorry. And 2070 is a target to become a carbon free nation. A solar system, electric vehicles everywhere, no burning of coals. Like right now, the 60-70% electricity coming from burning coals. The government is targeting to put up solar panels, building infrastructure, those sort of things to make sure that we get less dependent on the things which are polluting our environment. So which is good, but the given target of 50 years, sorry to say, 30 years, 40 years, this is not a good time, you know. Yes, somebody says 5 years down the line we will become a developed nation because you have already taken nation on a ride by 10 years. 5 more years should be fine. 10 more years can understand, because you need to educate your own people, you need to build infrastructure to bring in the system where solar system works, electricity system works, less dependency on the carbon works. Very good. 10 years is the fine time. But if you say it's going to take another 70 years, I'm sorry, this is not a vision. They say after 50 years I'll become a doctor. After 70 years I'll become a prime minister. These are not the goals or visions.